Before you sleep tonight, remember this. The last words you speak before you drift into slumber go straight into the subconscious mind, the place where miracles are born. Your subconscious is the fertile soil, and your words are the seed. Plant wisely. So say this before bed: the riches of the universe flow to me now. I am one with divine supply. Unexpected wealth, unexpected checks, unexpected jackpots appear instantly in perfect order. There is nothing to stop the flow of God's abundance. I give thanks that it is done. You see, the spoken word sets unseen forces in motion. What you decree at night travels into the silence and returns with the harvest by day. If you fill your mind with fear, lack, and doubt, you will reap them. But if you charge your atmosphere with faith, gratitude, and expectancy, the law must bring you prosperity. The jackpot is not a chance, it is a manifestation. It is the evidence of alignment. The moment you claim it as yours, without resistance, without doubt, the channel opens. Your dream becomes your demonstration. Say it with feeling, with certainty, with joy. I already possess the jackpot. It is mine now. The divine plan brings it to me instantly, in ways beyond my imagination. As you lie upon your pillow, rest in the assurance that the infinite never fails. Your words are the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The universe is compelled to obey the law of your spoken decree. Tonight speak abundance, and tomorrow you shall meet it. Speak wealth, and wealth will find you. Speak the jackpot, and the jackpot arrives, instantly. The subconscious mind is the great doorway to manifestation, and it is most open just before sleep. When you lie upon your bed at night, drifting between waking and dreaming, the conscious mind, the doubter, the critic, the worrier, grows silent. It steps aside, and in that holy silence, the subconscious waits to be impressed. This is the place where miracles are conceived, for whatever enters the subconscious in faith must soon appear in the outer world. That is why the words you speak before bed hold such tremendous power. They are not idle phrases, they are seeds planted in the most fertile soil of the soul. I have often said, the imagination is the scissors of the mind, ever cutting out what we see and hear, but the spoken word carries it into form. When you decree prosperity, when you affirm abundance as you are about to sleep, you send the image and the command together into the infinite. The subconscious takes your decree literally. It does not argue, it does not reason, it simply obeys. If you whisper, "I am in lack, I am afraid, nothing good will come," then lack and fear must appear in your affairs. But if you say, with joy and conviction, "The riches of the universe flow to me now, the jackpot is mine instantly, my supply is endless and unfailing," then the law is set in motion and nothing can stop the result. Consider the farmer who plants seeds. He does not question whether the soil will work. He trusts the process of nature. He knows that if he plants wheat, wheat must come, and if he plants corn, corn must appear. The subconscious is the soil of life, and your words are the seeds. The farmer would never plant weeds and expect roses, yet many people plant words of fear, lack, and failure, and then wonder why their lives are filled with weeds. The wise man, the man of faith, plants only the words of prosperity, health, joy, and success, especially in those sacred moments before sleep. The night is holy, for it is the bridge to the unseen. When you close your eyes and release the day, your mind enters the silence, where God works without interference. The last decree spoken in faith will echo through that silence, drawing to itself all things necessary for its fulfillment. That is why I tell you, make your last words at night, words of power, words of abundance, words of victory. For the subconscious, like a faithful servant, will work while you sleep, arranging, attracting, and unfolding the channels through which your jackpot will come. A woman once said to me, "But Florence, how can I expect a miracle when everything looks so hopeless?" And I replied, "The appearance of lack is nothing before the law. It is the spoken word that changes appearances." The subconscious does not take orders from the outer world, it takes orders from your word. She began affirming before bed, with unwavering faith, "I walk in the riches of God, unexpected money comes to me instantly, and my supply is endless." Within weeks, she received an inheritance she had forgotten, a sum beyond her expectation, and she said to me, "Truly, the word spoken in faith travels into the silence and returns as demonstration." You see, your conscious mind can interfere during the day, but at night, you release it. That is why affirmations before sleep are so potent. In that twilight state, the decree is dropped directly into the subconscious, without opposition, and there it is nurtured. As surely as the seed knows how to break open and grow, your word knows how to attract and manifest its result. You may not know the way, but the way is provided. Do not be careless with your last words at night. Do not allow yourself to fall asleep rehearsing fears, resentments, or disappointments. For the subconscious, impartial and faithful, will take even those and bring them to pass. Instead, guard your last thoughts as treasures. Speak words that are worthy of the divine. Say, I am one with infinite supply. I already possess the jackpot. The law of abundance is working for me now. I give thanks that my demonstration appears instantly. Speak it not with strain, but with calm assurance, knowing that the decree of faith has never failed. Even a few words, spoken with feeling, can overturn a mountain of doubt, for it is not the length of the prayer, but the depth of conviction. When you say, I give thanks for instant wealth, I rejoice in unexpected money, and you fall asleep with gratitude in your heart, the universe rushes to honor your faith. The silence of the night becomes charged with power, and the next day brings forth unexpected channels, surprising opportunities, and divine arrangements that prove the law true. The subconscious doorway is the hidden secret of many who prospered while others struggled. They understood that life is not chance, but law. The jackpot is not a gamble, it is a decree fulfilled. When you impress wealth upon the subconscious, you are aligning yourself with the eternal law of supply, and that law must bring results. Nothing can hinder it but your own doubt and idle words. So tonight, when you lay down your head, remember your words are not small, they are not idle, they are eternal seeds. Speak riches and you will reap riches. Speak joy and you will reap joy. Speak the jackpot and the jackpot must appear, because the subconscious, the faithful doorway of God, knows only to say yes, and once you have spoken in faith, the law is already working, moving you closer to the instant arrival of your demonstration. And as you begin to grasp this truth, you will move naturally into the next realization: the spoken word is law. For once the subconscious is impressed, the decree becomes unshakable, the unseen forces go forth, and the word, spoken in faith, can never return void. The spoken word is the very scepter of power placed in the hands of man. It is the command that moves the invisible into visibility, the decree that shapes destiny. Once the subconscious doorway is open, it awaits the word of authority, for it is the word that gives instruction to the law. The law is ever ready to obey, but it cannot act without the decree. That is why I say, your spoken word is not mere sound, it is law. When you speak in faith, you speak with the voice of God. The universe has no choice but to fulfill the command. A decree of lack produces lack. A decree of fear produces fear, but a decree of wealth compels wealth to appear. Life is not governed by chance. It is governed by law, and the law listens only to the words spoken with belief. The jackpot does not come by luck, it comes by law, and the law is set in motion by your word. I recall a man who came to me in great despair. He had lost his fortune, his business was collapsing, and every avenue seemed closed. He said, Miss Shinn, I have no hope left. I told him, hope is nothing without the spoken decree. The spoken word is the hammer that breaks the rock of appearances. I gave him affirmations to declare aloud, especially before bed when the subconscious was most open. He began saying, I walk in the riches of God, my supply appears instantly, by divine order. Every channel is open, and every door is free. At first he said it with trembling, but he persisted. Within weeks, his affairs reversed. A forgotten investment returned to him multiplied, and new opportunities opened like a flood. He said, I learned that my word had the authority all along. When I spoke, the law obeyed. You must understand, your word is not idle chatter, it is a decree stamped upon the ethers. Angels and unseen forces rush to fulfill it. The law is impersonal, it does not choose for you, it obeys you. If you say, I never prosper, the law says, so be it. If you say, the riches of God are mine instantly, the law says, so be it. That is why every careless word is a seed sown, and why the wise man watches his tongue. The tongue is the rudder that steers the ship of life. The jackpot, or any form of sudden wealth, is nothing but the outpicturing of a decree firmly spoken and faithfully believed. When you affirm, Unexpected wealth comes to me now. I am a magnet for divine supply. You set the law into operation. The law of supply does not hesitate, it does not delay, it begins at once to arrange circumstances, to draw people, to open ways, until your decree is fulfilled. But the moment you contradict your word with doubt or fear, you scatter the forces and delay your own good. That is why the spoken word must be consistent, unwavering, steady like the beating of the heart. Do not think of your word as a request, it is a command. When a king issues a decree, he does not plead, he does not wonder if it will be carried out. He speaks, and it is done. So must you speak, with authority, with certainty, with conviction. Say, I command the riches of the universe to flow to me now, I decree the instant arrival of my jackpot. Nothing and no one can oppose it, for it is divinely ordained. When you speak so, you speak the language of law, and the law cannot resist you. Many people weaken their word with doubt. They say their affirmation once, then spend the rest of the day rehearsing fear. This is like planting a seed and digging it up again each morning to see if it has grown. The seed cannot grow when disturbed, and neither can your decree when doubted. But if you plant it and leave it, watering it only with gratitude, it must bear fruit. So too with your word, speak it once with power, then give thanks continually that it is done. A woman once asked me, Miss Shinn, how long must I keep affirming before I see results? And I said, until it manifests, for the law is faithful and cannot fail. Your word has gone forth and will not return void. Hold to it until the harvest comes, for the word is the seed, and the law is the season. She persisted, declaring daily, the riches of God are mine instantly, unexpected wealth appears now. In time her debts were cleared, a lost inheritance found its way to her, and she said, indeed the word spoken is the law fulfilled. This is the truth, appearances do not matter, circumstances do not matter. The law does not take its orders from appearances, it takes its orders from your word. When you decree prosperity, appearances must bend to the decree, the seen must yield to the unseen, for the spoken word is the higher law. You may be penniless in appearance, yet when you say with conviction, I am rich, my supply is endless, the jackpot is mine instantly, you are rich in reality, and soon your riches will be visible to all. The word creates the mold, and substance rushes to fill it. If you decree small, you receive small. If you decree great, you receive great. Therefore dare to decree the jackpot, dare to decree instant wealth, dare to decree overflowing abundance. The law has no limits but the limits you set with your word. As you fall asleep, your decree sinks into the subconscious, and as you rise in the morning, it moves through the day, working in silence. Every spoken word is alive, moving, drawing, creating, it is never lost. Therefore guard your words, for they are the builders of your world. Speak only that which you desire, and speak it with the certainty of law, and once you have grasped this, you will move naturally to the next truth. Alignment with divine supply collapses delay. For when you decree wealth as already yours, and you stand in faith without wavering, the law acts instantly, bringing your demonstration without resistance. Instant alignment with divine supply is the secret that makes manifestation appear effortless. The law cannot bring delay, for delay is only the invention of the doubting mind. The moment you decree your good, and believe it, you have already aligned with the riches of God, the jackpot, the unexpected check, the sudden open door. These are not accidents, but the visible evidence of an inner alignment. The instant you speak, I already possess it, and your heart agrees, the channels open at once. People often ask me, Miss Shinn, why does it sometimes take so long for my word to come to pass? And I tell them, it is not the law that delays, it is man's divided mind. When you affirm abundance with your lips, but cling to lack with your feelings, you have not yet aligned. Alignment is agreement. The conscious word and the subconscious belief must be one, and when they are one, the demonstration is instant. That is why Jesus said, when ye pray, believe that ye receive, and ye shall have, not tomorrow, not someday, now. For the riches of God know no time, no delay, no distance. They flow where there is no resistance. To align with divine supply is to step into oneness with the infinite. The universe is already filled with wealth, overflowing with opportunities, radiant with abundance. There is no shortage in God's kingdom, only the illusion of shortage in man's mind. When you align, you pierce the illusion and step into the truth that supply is already yours, waiting for you to claim it. The jackpot is not created by chance, it is revealed by alignment. It was already prepared for you in the unseen, waiting for your decree of acceptance. I once spoke with a woman who had tried many affirmations, yet she said, "Nothing works for me." I asked her, "What do you feel when you speak your word?" She admitted, "I feel doubtful, I feel as though I am pretending," and I told her, "You cannot decree as a beggar and expect to receive as a queen. Speak not from longing, but from ownership. The word that aligns is not, 'I hope it comes,' but 'It is already mine.'" She changed her tone, she spoke with authority, and within a short while, she received an inheritance she had thought lost forever. She said, "The moment I spoke as though it were already done, the doors opened instantly." Alignment is not striving, it is not begging. It is resting in the truth that your supply is already complete in the infinite. The jackpot is not created when you ask, it exists before you ask. Your decree simply opens the channel for it to flow into form. This is why gratitude is such a mighty force, for gratitude says, "It is already mine." When you give thanks before you see the evidence, you are aligned, and the law must rush to show you proof. Do not confuse appearances with reality. Appearances change, but the word stands forever. You may see an empty purse, but when you say with conviction, "I am rich now," the riches of God flow to me instantly. You align with truth, not with appearances. And truth, when spoken, overrules appearances. Suddenly a forgotten channel opens, a person remembers you, a door swings wide, and supply appears where before there was nothing. That is not chance, that is alignment. Think of the radio, the music is already playing in the air, but you do not hear it until you tune the dial to the right frequency. Once you are tuned, the music is instant. Divine supply is the same. Prosperity is already vibrating all around you, waiting for you to tune in. The moment your decree is spoken in faith, you have tuned your mind to the frequency of abundance, and the wealth flows instantly, just as the music flows when the dial is right. So many live misaligned, asking for wealth while decreeing lack, praying for supply while expecting failure. Their words say one thing, their feelings another, and the result is delay. But the instant the word and the feeling unite, the manifestation is born. The jackpot is not in the future, it is here, now, awaiting your agreement. Say, "It is mine now," and let your heart rejoice, as though it were already in your hand. That joy is alignment. That gratitude is alignment. That certainty is alignment. I remember a man who longed for sudden wealth. He said, "I will be happy when I receive it." I told him, "You must be happy first, for happiness is alignment. Joy is the signal to the universe that you already possess your good." He began to rejoice in advance, thanking God for his unseen supply. Within a month he received a great windfall through a business venture he had nearly abandoned. He said, "The moment I rejoiced as though it were mine, the law moved instantly." This is the great truth. Alignment collapses time. What you thought would take months can happen in a day, in an hour, in a moment. For the universe does not need time, it needs agreement. The instant you agree with abundance, abundance agrees with you. That is why I say, there is no delay in God, only delay in man's acceptance. The jackpot is prepared, the wealth is ready, the law is waiting for your decree of ownership. Speak it as done, believe it as yours, and the channels open without effort. And as you come to know this, you will see why gratitude is the golden key, for gratitude seals the alignment. Gratitude is the final act of faith, the shout of victory before the walls have fallen. It is the magnet that draws supply irresistibly, for it announces to the universe, "I have received." And once you have received in spirit, the manifestation in matter cannot be withheld. Gratitude is the seal that completes the work. Without gratitude, the decree hangs suspended, waiting for the soul's final act of acceptance. But when thanksgiving rises from the heart, the demonstration is secured. Gratitude says to the universe, "I already possess it." It is the sign that alignment is complete, and the law is satisfied. When you fall asleep in gratitude, you do not ask, you do not plead, you do not wonder, you rest in possession. And possession in the spirit always produces possession in the visible. I tell you, it is not possible to be truly grateful for a thing and not receive it. For gratitude is the evidence of faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The moment you give thanks for the jackpot, as though it were already yours, you have already crossed the bridge from desire to manifestation. Many fail, because they pray with longing, but gratitude prays with ownership. Gratitude says, "It is finished," and what is finished in the spirit must be finished in the outer world. A woman once said to me, "Miss Shinn, I cannot give thanks for money I do not see," and I replied, "That is exactly why you have not seen it. The law waits for your thanksgiving. When you thank before the evidence, you command the evidence to appear." She began to speak each night before bed. "I give thanks for the riches of God now in my hands. I rejoice in unexpected wealth and divine abundance." At first she felt she was pretending, but she persisted. Soon she received a check she never expected, and it was the very amount she had desired. She said to me, "The moment I began to give thanks, everything shifted. You must learn to rejoice in advance. The harvest is drawn by joy." When a farmer plants seed, he does not stand over the field in fear. He rejoices in the coming harvest. He thanks the soil, the sun, and the rain, long before the first shoot breaks the ground. He knows it is already done. Gratitude is the proof of your knowing. When you say, "Thank you, Father, for the instant arrival of my jackpot," you water your decree with living faith, and the seed cannot resist water. It must grow, it must break through, it must bear fruit. The law of gratitude is magnetic. It pulls your good with irresistible force. The ungrateful heart delays its own blessing, for ingratitude declares lack, but gratitude declares completion. The grateful soul is never empty, for the law rushes to refill what is continually blessed. Gratitude is not only the end of manifestation, it is also the beginning. The more you give thanks, the more reasons you are given to give thanks. The circle of blessing becomes unbroken. One man I knew had struggled for years to make ends meet. He prayed, he affirmed, but he always spoke from need. His words carried longing, not possession. I told him, "Speak not from what you want, but from what you already have. Thank God now, and the supply must show itself." He began each night, just before sleep, to say, "Thank you, Father, that I am rich. Thank you that money flows to me instantly. Thank you that I am a magnet for divine abundance." Within weeks, unexpected business poured in. Debts were cleared, and he said, "I had prayed for years, but only when I gave thanks as though it were done did the law answer instantly." Gratitude is the language of the finished work. It does not plead, it does not struggle, it rests. When you lie down at night and whisper, "Thank you for the supply that overflows. Thank you for the jackpot that has arrived. Thank you that I sleep in abundance," you close the day as a victor, not a beggar. The subconscious takes that note of thanksgiving and magnifies it through the night. And in the morning, the outer world begins to reflect the inner song of gratitude. Do not wait for appearances before you give thanks. Appearances are only shadows. Gratitude works in the realm of reality, not shadows. Speak your thanks when the purse is empty, and it will be filled. Speak your thanks when doors look closed, and they will open. Speak your thanks when the jackpot has not yet appeared to the eyes, and it will arrive without delay. For gratitude is faith made visible in the spirit, and faith always produces results in matter. I tell you, the most powerful words you can speak before bed are not, "I hope," "I wish," "I want," but "thank you." For thank you is the final stamp of possession. Thank you closes the prayer with certainty. Thank you unlocks the treasury of heaven and pours it into your affairs. When you whisper those words and drift into sleep, you are placing your decree in the hands of the infinite, sealed, finished, and guaranteed. A student once said to me, "But Miss Shinn, what if I say thank you and nothing happens?" And I answered, "It is impossible. The moment you thank, something has already happened." Gratitude is the evidence that the shift is made. The outer must catch up with the inner, and it always does. The law cannot resist a grateful heart. The law must mirror what is impressed upon it. If you impress gratitude, you impress completion, and the law brings forth completion. So let your last words before sleep be thanksgiving. Not forced, not mechanical, but felt. Rejoice as though the money were already in your hand, as though the jackpot were already deposited, as though the doors of abundance had already swung wide. Laugh, sing, give thanks, and fall asleep in joy. For joy is the fragrance of gratitude, and gratitude is the proof of possession. And as you come to live in thanksgiving, you will see the jackpot arrive, not as chance, but as law fulfilled. For you will understand that gratitude is not the end of manifestation, but the ongoing rhythm of a life lived in harmony with divine supply. Every word of thanks you speak will draw more to be thankful for, until your days overflow with blessings, and your nights are filled with rest in the certainty that God has already given all. So tonight, let your words be few, but let them be mighty. Speak with authority, then rest in gratitude. Do not go to sleep as one in need, but as one already supplied. Declare, the riches of God are mine now. The jackpot is here, instantly, by divine right. I give thanks that it is done. And then close your eyes knowing that the law is at work, that your decree has been heard, and that nothing in heaven or earth can prevent its manifestation. Fall asleep, not in longing, but in possession. Rest not in worry, but in triumph. For what you claim in faith before bed, you shall rise to meet in the morning. Speak it, believe it, thank it, and watch the miracle unfold. The instant you align with divine supply, the jackpot cannot delay. It arrives, swiftly and surely, sealed by your word and your gratitude. Go to sleep tonight as a victor, and wake tomorrow in abundance.